This is Covering the Spread, part of the FanDuel Podcast Network.
We are headed now to week number 12 in the NFL, and it is a slate that involves a lot of key matchups for NFC playoff races, specifically a big one out in the West between the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Today, we're going to go game by game and break down betting odds at FanDuel Sportsbook and which bets I like this week according to my model, go through my thoughts on each of those games and let you know early bets we want to lock in across the NFL in week number 12. Welcome on into Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast. My name is JimSannes. I'm the managing editor for FanDuel Research, here to go game by game for NFL Week 12 and break down my thoughts on those games based on my spread and total and let you know which bets I am eyeing across this week in the NFL. We'll dive into all that here in just 1 second, but first, a reminder to make sure you're subscribed to Covering the Spread wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, etc. If you like what you hear, leave us a 5-star rating and review and make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate those who have done so already. Also, this brand new YouTube page, we are live here Monday through Friday, 6 times per week, talking the best bets across college football and the NFL. Of course, DFS show with you on Thursdays as well. Tomorrow, talking college football for week 13 with Riley Thomas. Will swing by live 4 p.m. Eastern on this YouTube page. Subscribe here and turn on notifications to get notified as we go live. And if you like what you hear, make sure to leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate those who have done so already. The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all of the action. And right now, FanDuel's giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA to get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime, no refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit M&T Gambling Help.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Let's begin things here today by talking about this Thursday night football game. It is the Browns and the Steelers. This game is in Cleveland. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, the Steelers favored by 3.5. Total in this game is 35.5. And when I look at this game, I think this total is too low. I've got the spread as being pretty efficient. I've got that at 4.2 in favor of Pittsburgh, but I've actually got this total at 40.2 personally, in large part because Jameis Winston is not a guy you're going to see in a game with a total this low super often. They haven't actually been more pass heavy with Winston, but his downfield nature, where he chucks it deep, stops the clock more often, can lead to turnovers, can lead to quick points for the offense as well. I just saw with Jerry Jeudy this past week. So you're not going to see a lot of totals this low with Jameis Winston in there. So honestly, I'm a bit surprised with this. The Steelers defense is very, very good, but likely no Alex Highsmith once again. That does ding them there. And I think this is a bit of recency bias after the showing the Steelers defense put up against Lamar Jackson this past week. So on Thursday night, I actually do like the over in this game. Steelers at Browns may feel weird given what we saw the Steelers do this past week, but got this at 40.2. Wind is in play for this game, but do still feel like we should go towards the over 35.5, currently -110 at FanDuel Sportsbook. As mentioned, no read on the spread here. Got this at Steelers -4.2, so just a total for me in this game. Second game to discuss is the Vikings and the Bears right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Vikings favored by 3.5. It's a light 3.5 at -102. Total in this game is 39.5. Did like a lot of what I saw from Caleb Williams in week number 11. He was running more, seemed to get the ball out faster as well. So did like a lot of that. Still the Vikings there by 5.2 in this game. Want to buy low on them at some point, but don't think this is the spot with this market being at 3.5. I also have the total at 40.9. So this one winds up being a stay away from me. 6-mile-per-hour winds in Chicago. So no read for me on either the spread or the total for the Vikings and the Bears, and don't think I will get there at any point either. Buccaneers at Giants. Tommy DeVito starting this game. So right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Buccaneers favored by 5.5. Total in this game is 41.5. And this is an interesting one with both teams coming off a bye. So neither team getting a bump there. But I have a big downgrade in my numbers for Tommy DeVito versus Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a flawed quarterback. So I'm not slobbering over him by any means. But DeVito last year was pretty rough with the Giants from an efficiency perspective. Now, I didn't have Malik Neighbors then, and we'll have him now, but I still got a really low projection for DeVito in this Giants offense. Again, Tyrone Tracy there too, but I still do feel like this is a poor situation. As for the Bucs, I'm projecting Mike Evans to be in for this game. Evans sounded like he was close-ish to play before their bye week. It seems, at least he seemed optimistic about potentially how he maybe could have played there in that one as well. So I'm projecting Mike Evans in, and Baker Mayfield was still shredding without Evans when he was out for that 3-game span. So the Bucs offense is efficient. Big downgrade for the Giants with DeVito in there. I've got the Bucs favored by around a touchdown in this game, and the total at 45. So I actually do like the Buccaneers quite a bit in this one because I think they're a very genuinely good football team, and the Giants do get downgraded with DeVito in there versus Daniel Jones. So I actually do like the Bucs minus 5.5 here, minus 105 at FanDuel Sportsbook. Bit of no man's land as far as between key numbers, but do think the Bucs are a solid bet in this one due to the downgrade I've got in there for Tommy DeVito. Next game up is the Patriots at the Dolphins. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook. Dolphins favored by 7. Total in this game is 45.5. And I really like what I've seen from Drake May. I think he's been pretty fun for the Patriots. Some of the underlying numbers are pretty good for him. He can run. And I've actually got this total at 47.9. So a bit of value on the over. Now, you're laying minus 115 over 45.5. And you're not getting a win on 44, which is a key number. So I have not personally taken this one yet. I think that I would like it to come down a hair. I don't think it will. Wind speeds here 8 miles per hour, so it's not like people will be overreacting to wind in this game. I do think that the over is pretty intriguing for the Dolphins and the Patriots. I've got this spread a little bit higher than 7, but personally don't really want to take that. Not enough value for me to lay it on a key number. If we're going to get to 6.5, sure, I'd be okay buying in there, but really like what I've seen from Drake May. I think this Patriots offense actually has some juice now for the first time in several years, basically since Tom Brady left. So liking Drake May, think this game could be kind of fun, hoping the wind speeds stay low because I'd like to go to this game for DFS. No traditional market bets for me right now, but pretty excited to watch this one. I think Tua's playing pretty well right now. Drake May is fun and could be a fun little shindig between a couple teams that have not had a lot of success this year, but should still be a fun game regardless. Got the Titans going the road, take on the Texans. Texans last night did get Nico Collins back. Obviously, the big touchdown call back. Snaps were limited for Nico in that game, and honestly, they were rotating pretty much everyone in that one. I'm not sure if that was them saying, okay, we've got this game against the Cowboys pretty much in hand, don't need to force things too much. We can kind of rotate in Mechie, we can rotate in Robert Woods still, even with Nico Collins being back. But I thought they looked pretty good overall. I got the Texans favored by a little bit more than 7.5 in this game. Not personally inclined to lay the 7.5 because it's at minus 114 right now. Obviously, 7 is a massively key number. Don't have this total super high either, so not looking towards a Texans team total over. I think this winds up being a stay away from me most likely, but really encouraged by the Texans in that game. Joe Mixon looked great. Once again, got the over 100+ rushing yards for us in that one, which is I very much appreciated. He also got the over on a touchdown late there, so shout out to Joe Mixon for that, but probably going to wind up being a stay away from me. Texans and Titans. Again, showing value on the Texans, but not enough where I want to lay minus 114 on 7.5. Next game up is the Chiefs and the Panthers. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook. The Chiefs are favored by 10.5, and the total in this game is 41.5. I really like the over in this game once again. Talked about the over for the Chiefs versus the Bills last week. That one did wind up cashing thanks to that Josh Allen crazy scramble on 4th down. Maybe he didn't deserve to get there, but it did. And I think the reason why my model likes the over in this game is because this Chiefs offense has been very, very efficient with DeAndre Hopkins in there. I know Hopkins didn't do a lot in that Buffalo Bills game, but Mahomes' efficiency was still very good there. And now they're likely getting Isaiah Pacheco back. What that says to me is, let's say the Chiefs build a lead in this game. They're still going to be able to be efficient as a rushing offense, allowing them to score points late. And this Panthers offense coming off a bye, I thought that Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker both looked good in that Germany game too. Some signs of life from Bryce Young. So I don't think this total should be as low as it is at 41.5. Now I'm pretty far off market on this one. I've got this one 47. So I'm way off market here, which means there's a good chance that I am too high in this game. But I also think the market is too low. Get a win on a key number of 44. So I am very okay taking the over 41.5. That is minus 110 at FanDuel Sportsbook. That is for the Chiefs and the Panthers. Next game up is the Cowboys and the Commanders. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Commanders favored by 10. Total in this game is sitting at 44.5. I've got big value on both the Commanders and the over in this game. And as a result of that, I could go towards either of those markets, and I could do a same game parlay with those two markets. But instead, I want to play this similar to what we did with the Lions last week when they were taking on the Jags, said that I preferred their team total over in that game. That's where I want to go with this one as well. The Commanders' baseline team total is 27.5 at minus 114 with taking the over there. Get a win on 28. And this Commanders offense has had a really tough schedule recently. Their past 4 games have been against the Bears, the Giants were whatever, but then the Steelers and the Eagles. That is 3 really impressive defenses in that span, and they've still outperformed expectations. I know the overall point totals and the overall look of it hasn't been amazing, but if you look at my model, it has a what you do based on relative to expectations. They have exceeded expectations on early downs through the air in all 4 of those games, and going before that as well. They've actually underperformed only twice so far this year. So they've been good, and now they finally get a really good matchup with this struggling Cowboys defense. Extra rest for the Commanders, Cowboys on a short week. I think it all does line up really well for the Commanders to go over this team total, 28.5 at minus 114. Similar to the Lions, I also don't hate an alternate team total in this game. The Commanders' alternate team totals, you can find those over at FanDuel Sportsbook. If you scroll up here, you'll see that then to go over 30.5 is plus 140. 31, obviously a pretty key number. Get wins on 31, 34, 35. I think that's kind of the range we're looking at for the Commanders in this game. This rushing offense is very good with Brian Robinson being back. They played Austin Eckler a lot in that Thursday game as well. So you've got both those guys there, which means that if they do build the lead, similar to the Chiefs, they can still put up points throughout that entire game. So I do like the baseline team total for the Commanders, but also looking towards some alternate team totals. I think that 30.5 is my favorite, plus 140, given that, again, they can put up points for all 4 quarters because of how good and efficient that rushing offense is. So feel really good about the Commanders team total in this game as they take on the Cowboys. Next game up is the Lions at the Colts right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Lions favored by 7.5. Total in this game is 50.5. Do show value on the Lions here. Not super inclined to take it because Anthony Richardson did look pretty okay. In that Jets game, it was a lot where he was kind of dependent on some late down stuff, which I don't know if I truly believe is going to be a strength for them going forward. So maybe the Colts are improved with Richardson. I'm still a bit skeptical there. I've got the Lions favored by more than 7.5, but again, 7.5 being a key number makes it tougher to lay there. Total, I've got right around 50.5, 51.8 for me. So no read for me on this game. Going to likely sit this one out unless I decide to dabble in some Lions team total stuff later in the week once again. Heading to the afternoon games on Sunday, we got the Broncos at the Raiders. This game in Las Vegas, the Broncos favored by 4.5 points, and the total is 41.5. You go to FanDuel Sports, you can actually see the betting splits, and 97% of the money on the spread is on the Denver Broncos, minus 4.5, minus 115. That is not betting analysis. That is just reading what the screen is saying. That does not dictate who wins games. You should not make analysis based on where the public is going. I just think it's very funny that it's 97% right now on the Broncos. I think that's correct. I've got the Broncos favored by 6.2 in this game. Total for me, 39.5. So a bit of value towards the under, minus 41.5 at minus 115. Have not taken either. Not super likely to take either. I think this is a stay away from me where I get to watch the Broncos, enjoy them, maybe dabble in some Cortland Sutton or Bo Nix. Probably not for DFS, given the low total in this game, but think the Broncos should play pretty well here, and I likely will wind up staying away personally. Got the 49ers at the Packers, and right now FanDuel Sportsbook, Packers favored by 1.5. The Niners money line plus 114. Total in this game is 48.5. I've got a slight lean towards the under in this game, 47.3 for me. Not going to take that unless it gets up to 49.5, and I can get a win on key number of 49. I do think there's a bit of value in the 49ers right now at plus 114. Obviously, they did not look good in that game against the Seahawks this past week, but no George Kittle in that game. I am currently projecting Kittle as in, given that he did get into a pair of limited practices last week. Think that should line him up to play this game because the Niners need him, frankly. They are in a rough position for the NFC playoff positioning. I think that they're like plus 150 something to actually make the playoffs as of right now, maybe plus 180, plus 168 to make the playoffs at FanDuel Sportsbook. So they need this game. So if Kittle can go, he's going to go for sure. And that's been reflected in the way they view Christian McCaffrey. Now, McCaffrey hasn't looked amazing, but I definitely do think he's still been Christian McCaffrey-esque. So I do like the Niners, a money line, a plus 114. I think that's a pretty good way to look at this thing. Obviously, the Packers are a solid offense with Jordan Love, but wasn't super impressed with them in that Bears game. Again, that's the best the Bears offense looked in a couple of weeks since their bye week. So skeptical of the Packers still. Do like Jordan Love. I'm glad he's getting healthier right now, but do like the Niners money line plus 114 at FanDuel Sportsbook in this one. Got the Cardinals at the Seahawks. Huge game in the NFC West. And right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Seahawks slight favorites. Their money line is minus 112. The Cardinals are at minus 104. Total in this game is 47.5. Should be a really fun game. I was kind of hoping I'd see value in the over. I don't right now. It's at 46.7 for me. Was hoping I could bet the over in this one. Not going to be there as of right now. But I do have an interest in betting the Cardinals here. The Cardinals money line is minus 104. My worry with this game is that maybe I'm underrating the Seahawks defense because we know Mike Macdonald is a very good football coach and he got into his bye, got some guys healthier on the defensive side of the football. And they played really well against the Niners this past week. It's very possible that the Seahawks defense has turned a corner and maybe they're going to be a much better team going forward. Also did get Abe Lucas back, one of their key tackles. So that was a key boost for the Seahawks offense. Offense still didn't play very well in that Niners game though. Whereas the Cardinals, they've been kind of a flamethrower recently on offense. Kyler Murray is a guy I've been skeptical of the past couple of years, but he's looked awesome. Marvin Harrison Jr. seemingly starting to figure things out. They got Trey McBride in the middle as well. So I do like the Cardinals money line, minus 104 at FanDuel Sportsbook. A bit nervous that maybe I'm underrating the Seahawks defense, given that we trust their head coach. They've gotten healthier and things like that. But I do still think we can feel okay about the Cardinals money line, minus 104 at FanDuel Sportsbook. The Sunday night game, pretty fun one. That is the Eagles at the Rams. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Eagles favored by 3. Total in this game is 50.5. And I've got the spread quite a bit tighter. It's basically a toss-up for me because I have a really big upgrade in there for this Rams offense, the Puka Nacua being back. If you look at just the games Nacua has played the full game, it's a 3-game sample, but Matthew Stafford has been phenomenal in that span. Their passing offense has actually been more efficient than the Eagles' passing offense in that time. Now, I wanted my concern going into this week was that my numbers would be too low on this Eagles defense because they seem like a legit world wrecker right now with the personnel changes they made, trusting Vic Fangio and stuff like that. So I was pretty concerned that I'd run my numbers and realize that they were too low on the Eagles. But then look at what the actual numbers say, and they are pretty high on this team. So I'm less concerned about that now than I was before. And that does allow me to have interest in the Rams plus 3. That's minus 115 at FanDuel Sportsbook. So you are paying a price to get the 3. Also have value in the money line at plus 134. And I like the under. And that's reassuring for me because, again, I was worried that it was going to be too low on the Eagles defense. So if I'm a bit worried about that and I'm showing value in the under 50.5 is at minus 106. Not a bad read for me there. So like the under 50.5 at minus 106, interest in the Rams plus 3 at minus 115 and their money line at plus 134, just because I want to buy into the Stafford Nacua Cup pairing. I think that's a pretty lethal combination. It might be a bit undervalued in the market right now. My numbers have generally been too low on the Eagles. That wound up being good for me in the second half of last year. Has not been kind to me recently, but still some interest in the Rams for sure. Their money line again, plus 134, under 50.5 in this game against Philadelphia. Monday night game is the Harbaugh Bowl. It is John at Jim. Ravens at Chargers right now. FanDuel Sportsbook. Ravens favored by 3. Total in this game is 50.5. Got this total right around there, 51.6 for me. Ravens favored by a bit more than that at 5.6. I might need to lower their passing offensive efficiency projection just because it's hard to expect. What Lamar has been doing to keep up. But I don't know, man. It's also Lamar Jackson. It is a talented group of pass catchers. So I do think that I have some interest in the Ravens -3 at -110, but really love what Justin Herbert is doing. He has looked phenomenal this year. So right now it's a stay away from me, but I would not be shocked if I do wind up talking myself into the Ravens since we preview this game on Monday here on the show. So Ravens favored by a bit more than 3 for me, total 51.6. If that total comes down, I'll happily take the over. I think that would be awesome. But for right now, looking towards staying away, as so I don't have to root against Justin Herbert and this very, very fun passing offense right now. So let's recap the spots that I was highest on across this weekend, the bets that I'm okay locking in right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Like the over 35.5 for Thursday Night Football, the Steelers against the Browns, that is -110 as of right now. Feel pretty good about the Buccaneers, -5.5, -105 as they take on the Giants. Again, because of the assumption Mike Evans is back and being low on Tommy DeVito as the starter for the Giants. Looking elsewhere, do you like the Chiefs and Panthers over 50 or 41.5 -110, buying into the Chiefs offense, which can score in every game script? Think the Panthers looked a little bit better before their bye as well. Like the Commanders team total, the baseline number 27.5 -114, but also interested in some alt team totals. Over 30.5 is +140 at FanDuel Sportsbook as well. Do you like the Niners money line? +114 as they take on the Packers. Okay with the Cardinals money line. -104 as they take on the Seahawks. And then interest in the two primetime games, Eagles, Rams, and Ravens, Chargers, specifically an under 50.5 for Rams, Eagles, and the Rams money line at +134. And then a bit of interest in the Ravens -3. We'll talk more about that one on Monday night, though. So hopefully some fun bets for you to lock in early on this week. That is all that we have here for today on Covering the Spread. Back with you once again tomorrow. We're going to talk with Riley Thomas about his best bets across week number 13 in college football, get some reactions to the latest college football playoff rankings as well to get you set for this week in college football and our full NFL Best Bets show coming up on Thursday here on this YouTube page and the Covering the Spread podcast feed. Go subscribe both those places, Covering the Spread podcast feed and also this FanDuel football betting YouTube page. Turn on notifications to get notified as we go live each and every weekday as well. If you got any questions for me, I am on X at JimSannes, also on Bluesky at JimSannes as well. You can find FanDuel Research on X at FanDuel Research. Big thank you to our YouTube producer, Justin Lane, for his work on the video side of things. Thank you, Justin, as always. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. Hopefully things go well for us in week number 12 in the NFL. This has been Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast.